Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, into the Giles Center for this afternoon's matchup between the Portland Pilots and the Idaho Vandals. I'm Brian Slyke with your call for today's match. Portland is opening up play for themselves in their North Portland Invitational Tournament. The Pilots come into today's matchup 2-1 after their opening tournament at Weber State. And Idaho is 1-2 after their first weekend and their opening tournament play as well. We're introducing the starting lineups for both sides right now. Fortunately, at the moment, we are trying to figure out the starters ourselves. But we are introducing the Vandals starting lineup right now. Going through the order, they've got Delaney Hopen out on the court right now, Kyra Palmbush as well. They've got Danae Jansen, Paige Rupiper as well. Number 9, their libero going to be out on the court today is Elena Lacey, Number 15 is going to be Nikki Ball, the middle blocker out there for them. And they also have Avery Housley as well in their starting lineup. Just had our introduction video for the Portland Pilots volleyball season as they're opening up for their home games this season, as they're about to start the introduction for the starting lineups for your Pilots. Grace Zilbert will be out there starting for the Pilots today. The center today for the Pilots is going to be Kelly Hughes. This is a junior from Livermore, California, from Foothill High School. Katie Barker is coming back. She'll be the middle blocker. Key to the Portland Pilots' success last season. She was the leading blocker on the team coming back. Also starting for the Pilots, number 13, it's going to be Claire Forrest. She'll be your outside hitter. She's a transfer from Seton Hall University. Cassidy Naone is also in the starting lineup. She's your outside hitter for the Pilots. Shayla Heft will be your other middle blocker in today's starting lineup. And out there as libero today, it's going to be Carrie Williams for the Pilots. Teams now meeting up at the net, exchanging high fives and good luck before today's matchup, as the Pilots again opening up the North Portland Invitational for themselves. There was already one match earlier today, and that was between Utah State and Washington State. Washington State were the victors, 3 games to 1, 3 sets to 1, I should say. Two teams meeting up on the respective sides of the courts as we are about ready to begin play. Now that the referees have approved the set rotations for the players, the liberos are now entering into the game, which means Carrie Williams is now out on the court. She's in there for Shayla Heft, who would be in the back row right now. Starting off serving for the Vandals. And it's going to be their outside hitter, Delaney Hopen, and this her first serve over. Good passing. Right side attack right there by Claire Forrest. That point will go to the Pilots. Now serving, it's going to be Katie Barker. Sets up for a float serve. This one off the top of the tape and bounces back onto the Pilots' side of the court. So that'll be a point for the Vandals. That'll even things up and one apiece between these two teams. And going back to serve is going to be Kyra Palmbush for the Vandals. Middle blocker, freshman from Mountain View, California, and Mountain View High School. The first serve is going to be picked up by Williams, and a good swing right there by Heft. Dug up by the Vandals. Here comes the set. Cross court to the outside hitter. And that'll be a kill for Cassidy Naone. And the Pilots take an early 2-1 lead over the Vandals. For us now leaving the game, coming in is going to be Emma Scanlon. Scanlon is a redshirt junior, been with the Pilots for a couple seasons. Here's the outside swing for the Vandals, picked up by Williams. Here comes the set and the tip over on the far side by Naone. It's picked up by the Vandals. Left-handed swing right there by number 9, Paige Rupiper, and there's the kill for the Pilots. 3-1 lead now. Scanlon back to serve again with the jump float over the net. And receiving error right there by number 16, Avery Housley. That'll be an ace for the Pilots, and now it's a 4-1 lead. Scanlon with the serve just past the end line. That'll be a point for the Vandals. So end that little streak of scoring for the Pilots. Now 4-2 lead for Portland. Going back to serve is Paige Rupiper, the outside hitter, senior from Phoenix, Arizona. The lefty swings. This one's deep and past the end line. That'll be a point back for the Pilots. So back-to-back service errors by both teams washes it out. It's now a 5-2 lead for the Pilots. Going out of the game right now for Portland is going to be Grace Zilbert. Back to serve is Cassidy Naone. Jump floats, this one into the libero. Set to the outside, off the hands. Picked up by Williams. Good up right there with the pancake. Easily sends it back over for the Pilots. And a block for the outside. And the middle blocker right there for the Pilots. That was Heft and Liz Rich, who's now in the game as well. She came in just a minute ago for Zilbert. So Naone back to serve again with the 6-2 lead for the Pilots. Jump float, this one going a little bit deep past the end line. Good communication by the Vandals on the outside, letting that one go past. It's now a 6-3 lead for the Pilots as we have a substitution. As Hopen now leaves the lineup for number 17, Kennedy Warren, and back to serve for the Vandals, and it's going to be Becca Owen. Her first serve going to be picked up by Naone. High almost over to the net, trying to block that one as it went over was Kelly Hughes, but unable to save that one. It lands on the Portland side. That'll be a point for the Vandals. It's 6-4 in favor of the Pilots. Owen back to serve again. Foot serve picked up by Naone. The set by Hughes and the far hit right there by Heft goes out of bounds. That'll be a point for the Vandals. The slide not successful this time. Idaho slowly making their way back into it. They were down 6-2. It's now 6-5. Owens with their third consecutive serve. Keying in on Naone. Here's the set by Hughes. The outside swing successful for the kill right there is Rich. That goes off the Vandals' arm on the block attempt for the kill. It's going to be a 7-5 lead now for the Pilots. Back to serve is Carrie Williams. Here comes a float serve from her. This one dying down, just picked up by Kennedy Warren. A good set by the Vandals. A quick hit by the middle blocker. Picked up by the Pilots, though. Good pickup by Williams on the hit from Rich. Rich trying to rebound. This one dug up by Owens in the back row. Here's a swing from Warren by the Vandals, and that'll be a point as it just goes off one of the Portland Pilots in the back row. And now it's a 7-6 one-point lead for the Pilots. Elena Lacey serving for the Vandals, her first one of this match. Naomi picked it up. There's a swing picked up by Williams. She just sends this one over. It's picked up by the Vandals. The outside swing by Warren goes off the hands of Emma Scanlon and right back. And that'll even up the scoring now at 7 apiece. Leone takes that serve. Williams with the set cross court to Rich, and she swings, hits this one cross court just beyond the 10-foot line, but inbounds. That is going to be a point for the Pilots. They take an 8-7 lead. Back to serve is the setter Kelly Hughes. She'll be in the right back after this serve. Float serve over, picked up by Owens. Here's the bump set by the libero. This one goes just over. Hughes with the back set. And Forrest with the kill from the right side. That one hits just in front of the back line for a kill. That'll be a 9-7 lead now for the Pilots. We've got Forrest, Barker, and Rich in the front row right now for the Pilots. There's a float serve. This one just hits the back line. That'll be an ace right there for Hughes. That'll extend this lead now to 3. It's 10-7 in favor of the Pilots. You've got Carrie Williams and Cassidy Naone in the back row along with Hughes. As here's a swing by Warren on the outside in between the block right there between Forrest and Barker. It just bounces just at the 10-foot line. That'll be a point for the Vandals. They'll make it 10-8 now. Danae Jansen back to serve for the Vandals. Short jump serve. Hughes setting just in front of the 10-foot line. Here's a tip attack right there by Forrest. Here's the bump set by the libero for the Vandals. Forrest saving that one going over the net. Here's Hughes set up for Rich. This one off a couple of blocks. It's picked up by number 4, Jansen. Here's a cross-court swing by Warren. Williams digs that one. Rich with the tip over the net. They're going to say there was a net violation, and that'll be a point for the Portland Pilots after that little rally right there. It's now 11-8 in favor of the Pilots here in set 1 of this matchup between the Idaho Vandals and the Portland Pilots. Grace Silbert back to serve right now. This one goes right to the libero, Lacey. Cross-court swing. This one is going to go far, though, for Warren as she was swinging from the right side. Out of bounds, point for the Pilots, 12-8. Naone back in the front row with Forrest and Barker. And here's a serve just off the top of the net, going to roll over. Fortunate for the Pilots. That'll be an ace, and that'll make it 13-8 now for the Pilots. Serve from Zilbert, picked up by Rupiper. Just over the net, but brought back over. Here's to set. Warren trying to send this one over, but that's going to be 4 hits for the Vandals. And the violation will result in a point for the Pilots. It's now 14-8. Paige Rupiper, Elena Lacey, and then we also have Becca Owen in the back row for the Vandals. Here is the serve for the Pilots. Lacey picks that one off. The set, and Warren trying to tip this one over. Pilots are aware of it. Hughes with the bump set. The swing from Naone. A long swing. This one just past the far line. And out of bounds. It's going to be 14-9 now in favor of the Pilots. Coming in is going to be Delaney Hopen. Coming in for Kennedy Warren. She's back to serve now. Open with the standing float serve, picked up by Williams in the back row. Here's a set from Hughes. This one over, tipped, but it's picked up by Jansen. Bump set, swing, picked up by the Pilots. Back set, Forrest tries to swing into the block, bounces back on the Portland Pilots side. And that'll be a block right there by Kayla Palmbush. And also by Avery Housley. It's 14-10 in favor of Portland. Open. with the float serve. This one going a little too far. Williams calling it out early. None of the Pilots chase after that one. Point for Portland, 15-10. And going back to serve now, it's going to be number 12, Katie Barker. Forrest, Heft, and Naone are the front row for the Pilots right now. Here's a serve and a little miscommunication right there by Lacey and Housley. Housley almost went right in front of Lacey right there, the libero, to try to get that serve receive, but shanks that one into the stand. 16-10 now for the Pilots here in set one. Barker with the jump float serve. This one off the top of the tape. Not enough to get over, though. Rolls back on the Portland side. That'll be a server's error and a point for the Vandals. It's going to be a 16-11 score now. Palmbush back to serve for the Vandals. Castagnone quickly jumping on that one, calling that one out early. Nobody chasing that one. That'll be a service error for the Vandals. So they swap a couple of service errors, and now it's 17-10 in favor of the Pilots as Forrest leaves the game. Coming in is going to be Emma Scanlon, now serving. Float serve, that one is going to be received by Hopen. Here's the swing, and it's blocked back over on the Vandals side. Swinging on this one is going to be Housley, picked up by Williams. Hughes with the back set. Heft swinging, and that one is going to land just in front of the back line. Good slide right there by Heft coming out of the middle, and that'll be a point for the Pilots, 18-11, and there's going to be a timeout called by the Idaho Vandals. So the Portland Pilots take an 18-11 lead into the first timeout here in set one of the opening match for the Pilots and the Vandals. Welcome back into the Childs Center for today's first match for the Portland Pilots. They're taking on the Idaho Vandals. Right now they have a lead in set one, 18-11 after the first timeout taken by the Vandals. Back to serve right now is Emma Scanlon for the Pilots. Here's the jump float. This one is going to be received by Delaney Hopen. Here's the set to the right side, swung on by number 9, Paige Rupiper, but it's saved by the Pilots. Heft with the slide swing, picked up by the Vandals. Here's a cross-court set, and they're going to call this one a double on the setter right there, number 4, Danae Jansen. And that'll be a point for the Pilots, 19-11. Short jump serve right there, Hopen saves that one. Here's a swing from the right side, picked up by the Pilots. Here's an outside swing. Naone just with the tip, trying to save that one. Hughes with the back set, this one to Heft, picked up by Hopen. Back left, this one is going to be sent over by Housley from her feet. Hughes with the back set, Heft again, swinging off the block, though, trying to save that one was Lacey, goes off her hand and out of play. So that'll be a point for the Pilots. And now they are 5 points away from taking this first set from the Vandals. Hughes, Heft, and Naone out in the front court for the Pilots. Here's a swing off the block, and Hughes trying to set the outside. Heft, though, was trying to go inside, possibly for a middle swing, but nobody was out on the line at the pin, so that one drops for a point for the Vandals. It's going to be a 20-12 lead now for the Pilots. Dropping back to serve for the Vandals, it's going to be number 5, Haley Pelton. She's the other setter. freshman from Ferndale, Washington. Her first serve going to be picked up by Williams, the libero. Heft comes up, swings, sends this one down on the line. Great set by Hughes. Heft turned on that one perfectly, and hoping the left back right there for Idaho stood no chance as that one bounced off the feet right in front of her. So now dropping back to serve is going to be Cassidy Nanone. Her serve picked up by Lacey. Here's the set from the freshman setter. The tip goes out of bounds off the hands of Nikki Ball. Point for the Pilots, and it's going to be 12-2. Hughes, Heft, and Rich are in the front row right now for the Pilots. Nanone with the serve, float serve, back right side, picked up by Lacey, the libero. Here comes the bump set. This one up at the pin, unable to keep it inbounds. It's going to go off the ref stand. Rachel Mills could not get to that one in time, and that now puts the Pilots 2 points away from taking this first set. They're up 23-12. Nanone with the serve, back right. Picked up by number 16. Here's the tip, though, from the Vandals. It's over. Williams with the bump set. Rich swings. This one is going to be picked up by Mills. And here's another swing, and unable to pick up that ball right there after the block were the Pilots. Good diving attempt right there by Emma Scanlan, but that point will go to Idaho. It's now 23-13 as the Pilots have a 10-point lead coming into the game. Now to serve, it's going to be Becca Owen into the back row. Owen getting the serving zone from her coach. Here's the serve over. Scanlan with that one. Rich having to send this one over. It was a low set by Hughes across court. Lacey with the set over, blocked a little bit off of the Portland Pilots. And here's a swing from Heft from the middle. This one is going to land just at the quarter spot on the 10-foot line. And in the court, it's now set point 24-13. Carrie Williams back to serve for the Pilots. Jump serve to the back left. Picked up by number 17, Kennedy Warren. Here's the swing off. The block goes up, but unable to react quick enough to get to that one. Was going to be Katie Barker. That one drops down for a point for the Vandals. It's now 24-14. It's now going to be Elena Lacey back to serve for the Vandals. Nanone gets that serve receive. Hughes with the set. Rich sends this one over. Lacey, though, gets that one in time. Here's a diving save by Scanlan. Sends it back over. Here's a set for the Vandals. A swing from the outside. Picked up again by Scanlan. Warren unsuccessful on that swing. Rich swings this one in the court for the final point of set one. The Pilots will take set one 25-14 over the Idaho Vandals. We're going to take a quick break in between sets for set number 2. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Child Center. I'm Brian Slyke. I've got your call for this afternoon's matchup between the Idaho Vandals and your Portland Pilots. The Pilots took set one, 25-14 over the Vandals. Good defensive play for the Pilots in that first set. A couple service errors, some things to clean up. That's what these early season tournaments are about. Getting back into the swing of things before conference play, as we're about ready to get things going as the referees are checking the starting lineups. Out there for the Pilots, and it's going to be Grace Zilbert back to serve. Carrie Williams is out there as the libero out there. The setter is going to be Kelly Hughes, Cassidy Nanone, Claire Forrest, and it looks like we have Katie Barker in the starting lineup as well for the Pilots. So here comes the serve from Zilbert to start off the second set. It's picked up. Here's the set from the Vandals. Off the hands of Barker down on the Portland side of the net. It's going to be a 1-0 lead for the Vandals here to start off. Out on the court, they've got Kyra Palmbush, who's back to serve right now. Delaney Hopen. She's in the back row as well. And the setter right now is Danae Jansen. Here's this serve past the end line. That'll be a service error for Palmbush, and that'll be a point for the Pilots. We're back evened up at ones apiece as we now have Katie Barker going back to serve. Front row right now for the Vandals. You've got Nikki Ball. As here's the serve from Barker. Hopen with that receive. Here's the swing. Put on by Kennedy Warren. It's picked up by the Pilots. Nanone swing picked up by Barker in the back row, but they cannot get that one up and over the net. That'll be a point right there for the Vandals. Good effort to try to pick that block up for the Pilots. Just cannot get to it in time. It's a 2-1 lead now for the Vandals. Coming into the front row right now for the Vandals, it's going to be number 13, Rachel Mills. Going to be out there with Kennedy Warren and Nikki Ball. Back to serve for the Vandals. It's Haley Pelton, server, and she serves this one right into the net. The service error, second one of the set already for the Vandals. It's now 2-2. Claire Forrest leaving the game, and now we got Emma Scanlan taking over for her in the back row. She's serving right now. Comes up for the approach, a float serve in the back row, picked up by Hopen. Here's the set and the swing right there by Mills, picked up by Williams. A good save by Hughes, sent over by Zilbert. And here's a tip off of Williams' hand and out of bounds. That'll give the Vandals another lead. It's now 3-2. Looked like it just went off the block, maybe from Nanone, and then Williams tried to save that one. It went off her hand and then out of bounds anyway. So early 1-point lead for the Vandals. Now serving right is Becca Owen. Here's a set from here. Nanone swings past the far line as Lacey backs out of the way of that one. That'll be a point for the Vandals, and they now hold a 4-2 lead. Zilbert, Scanlan, and Williams in the back row right now for the Pilots, awaiting the serve from Owen. Zilbert will take that serve, receive, sent over by Hughes, picked up by the Vandals, though. Here's a swing from Mills on the right side. Williams picks that one up off the block. Swing from Heft, picked up by the Vandals. Heft with a good dig right there. Hughes back setting to Heft. Heft tips it. A pancake right there by Owen. Keeps this one alive for the Vandals. Scanlan comes up, sets a high ball for Hughes. Hughes sends this one to the outside, and Nanone, smart play, tipping it into the middle, and this one is going to be sent out of bounds by number 7, Emily Smith, for the Vandals. And so the Pilots ending that little streak right there for Idaho. It's now a 4-3 lead for the Vandals, and back to serve is Cassidy Nanone. Jump float for Nanone. Owen with the serve receive. Here's the swing from Smith, sent over Williams, getting hand underneath that one, popping it up for Hughes. Heft sending it over just to fight for another day. Lacey with the bump set. Mills sends this one over off the high block, and it looked like of Heft, and out of bounds. Unable to get to that one was Scanlan. Lacey now back to serve for the Vandals. Jump float from the libero back at Nenone. High ball in the middle. Hughes going to bump set this one back from behind the 10-point line. Picked up by the other setter, Pelton, in the back right. Here's a block by Hughes and Hefta, looked like, and that'll be a point for the Pilots. Get 1 point back. It's now a 5-4 lead for the Vandals. Leaving the game as Heft coming in is going to be number 12, Katie Barker. Williams with the far serve past the end line. That'll be a service error point for the Vandals. They'll go back to a 2-point lead. It's now 6-4. Barker, one of the few players for the Pilots participating in both indoor and outdoor seasons. She participated in the outdoor seasons in 2016 and 17 as this serve is out of bounds. Unable to find the court was Danae Jansen, the setter for the Vandals. She'll be back in the back row. So the 3 hitters up front right now for the Vandals. It's going to be Paige Rupiper. Looks like we also have Kyra Palmbush. And we also have, looks like, Emily Smith out there. So Kelly Hughes back to serve for the Pilots. A short float serve, excellent right there, but it is picked up by Owen. Hughes saves the hit over the net. Here's a high ball sent over by Williams. A swing by Rich is not blocked in time. It lands on the Vandals side of the court, and now we're all tied up at 6 apiece here in set number 2. Hughes is a junior for the Pilots. Been dealing with sitting behind a good setter for the last couple of years for the Pilots. She's getting her first starting action as this one goes off the arm of Owen. It looked like it was going to go far and past the end line. Owen trying to get out of the way of that one. Her initial reaction was to play it, but a little too late to get out of the way, and that'll be a point and an ace for the Pilots. It's now 7-6 lead, their first lead of this match. Here's a short float serve by Hughes. It's picked up by number 9, Rupiper. Here's a setback out to Rupiper on the outside. It's blocked, but picked up by the Vandals. Rupiper having to readjust and swing on the outside ball. Williams handles that one. Here's a set for the middle, and Barker turns that one into a kill. And the Pilots now have an 8-6 lead, and the Idaho Vandals will call a timeout. It's an 8-6 lead for the Portland Pilots over the Idaho Vandals as we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Welcome back to the Child Center. I'm Brian Slyke with your call. The Portland Pilots have a 2-point lead right now here in set 2, 8-6 over the Idaho Vandals. They did take set 1, 25-14. Here's a serve by Hughes. Set to the outside, swung on right there by Emily Smith. This one is going to be in the court, and that'll be a point for the Vandals. Now coming in is going to be Emily Hopen. And also we have number 17, Kennedy Warren, in for the Vandals. Hopen now back to serve for the Vandals, getting the serve-receive zone from her coach. Flat-footed, she serves a float serve picked up by Williams. Hughes setting this one outside. Rich with a little roll over the top. It's picked up by the Vandals, though. Here's a swing from the right side, and this one is going to land just in front of the Pilots. Nenone for a point. Good swing right there by Paige Rupiper to get that one down. Point Vandals. It's going to be an 8-8 game right here in set 2. Hopen trying to serve this one across the court on a float. Never got above the tape. That's going to be a point for the Pilots. 9-8 now. As Rich is now going to be coming out of the game. She'll be replaced by Grace Zilbert in the back row. She's now back to serve for the second time in this set. Kelly Hughes and Carrie Williams are also in the back row right now. Good float serve picked up by Hopen. Here's the set to the right side. Tip sent all the way to the back line. Unable to get to that one as Zilbert lands inbounds. That'll even us up at 9 apiece now. It's Paige Rupiper taking that ball at its apex and just pushing it to that back line. Out of the reach of any Pilot. Now back to serve is going to be Kyra Paulbush. Williams with the serve receive. Hughes back setting this one. Swung on by Forrest on the right side. And that one is going to be a point in the back left corner. And it's now 10-9. 1 point lead as Barker goes back to serve for the Pilots. Linone, Heft, and Forrest on the front row right now for the Pilots. There's a serve off the top of the net. This one is going to land on the Portland side, though. Service error evens up the score at 10 apiece as Williams goes back onto the court to replace Barker as the libero. Rupiper back to serve for the Vandals. Lefty serves this one over. Receive. Picked up by Zilbert, and the swing right there by Heft out of the middle. That'll be a kill, and that'll give a 1 point lead back to the Pilots. It's now 11-10. As Forrest leaving the game, Scanlon coming into the game. She'll now be serving for the second time in today's game. Scanlon serve a little deep, and that one will go past the end line. Communication between Lacey and Rupiper was on point. Both confirming that one was out before it got to him, and that'll even up the scoring at 11s. Becca Owen back to serve for the Vandals. Jump float serve. Back right, Scanlon gets that one. It's going to be sent up by Hughes, and a powerful swing right there by Heft on the slide, and that'll be a kill, and that'll give the Pilots back their 1 point lead, 12-11. Cassidy Nanone back to serve. Nikki Ball in the front row right now for the Vandals. Here's the set to the outside. Number 7 is Emily Smith. This one is going to go off the hands of the Pilots on the far side. Looked like that one went off of Heft and Hughes. So after that tool, it's going to be a 12-12 game here in set 2. Lacey getting the signal for the service area. She back to serve. Nanone picks that one up. Heft tipping this one over, picked up by the Pilots, though. Hughes sending this to the outside. Rich swings. Smith is going to pick that one up. It's set up by Jansen. She tips this one over, coming in. Williams puts that one up. Scanlon diving in to try to save that one, but reaching back, it looked like maybe it was Heft. Popped that one up. Williams trying to get to it late. Scanlon trying to communicate that if she lets that one go, she might have had a better chance at getting to it, but that's not always the first thing you think of when you're up at the net. Here comes Lacey with the serve. Nanone pops this one up. Scanlon's going to bump set this one to the outside. Rich swings, blocked by the Vandals. Up, it's picked up by Rupiper. The swing by Smith falls just in front of Rich after it hit the hands of Heft. And going inside, it's now a 2 point lead for the Vandals, 14-12. Heft, Hughes, and Rich in the front row. Nanone with the good serve receive. Here's the back set, and the swing from Heft down the line, in for a point. Owen didn't stand a chance trying to get down low, but that one actually went over her shoulder on the line for a point, and that one is going to cut into the lead by 1. It's now 14-13 in favor of the Vandals. Carrie Williams back to serve with the jump float. Smith with the serve receive. She'll get it back to swing. Williams dives, keeping that one alive. He was setting this one across court. Rich jumping a little prematurely before she was actually set up. And could only tip that one, could not get it over to the net. That will be a point for the Vandals. They push that 2 point lead back. It's now 15-13. Danae Jansen, the setter, back to serve. Quick little jump float. Cross court to Williams, the libero. Hughes up at the net. Sets this one back. Half swings and a diving effort from Lacey on the back line. But this one down for a point. A good kill right there. Correction, that looked like it was Barker with the kill. It's now a 15-14 lead for the Vandals. Kelly Hughes back to serve. Forrest, Barker, and Rich are on the front row for the Pilots. This ball's picked up by Owens. Jansen with the set across to Smith. Blocked off the top of the net and unable to cover on that one. It looked like it was number 9, Rue Piper. Yeah, she could not cover on that one. That'll even up the scoring. Great piece of blocking right there by Forrest and Barker on the right side. Comes Hughes serving in a 15-all tie here. That serve just past the end line, out of bounds by a couple of inches, and that'll give the Vandals another lead. It's now 16-15 here in the second set. Smith and Owen now leaving the game. Coming in, it's going to be Delaney Hopen and then number 17, Kennedy Warren, entering the game. Yeah, Paige Rue Piper, Kennedy Warren. And it looks like Palmbush out there for the Vandals. The swing just out of bounds. And that'll be a point for the Vandals. Couldn't quite see who was swinging on that one. But it's now a 17-15 lead. Here's a cross-court float serve. Forrest with the serve receive. Hughes sets this one back up for Rich with a tip. Palmbush sends it back over. Hopen with the good dig right there. Sets it up for the Vandals, but the swing picked up by Williams. Here's a cross-court swing by Forrest. This one is going to land in the court for a point for the Pilots. Not to let that lead get too far out of hand. They're now back within one, 17-16. As we have Liz Rich leaving the game, and now entering is going to be number 6, Grace Zilbert, in the back row for his third time serving in this game. Float serve off the top of the net. Picked up by Hopen. Here's a set by Jansen. Swung on and off the block. It's going to go out of bounds, so that will be a kill for Kennedy Warren on the outside. And back to a 2-point lead now for the Vandals here in set 2, 18-16. Kyra Palmbush with the serve. Inone with the serve receive, sets it up for Hughes to swing from the right side by Forrest, and down for a point. That'll be a kill for the Pilots, 18-17. Katie Barker going back to serve Williams out. As Shayla Heft now comes back onto the court. She'll be the middle blocker. Barker serving from the back left corner, cross-court serve. Open with the good serve receive, sets it up at the 10-foot line. The set by Jansen, good, as this one swung on across. Barker picks it up, and now they're trying to save it again, and a great piece of work right there by Nainone to keep that one alive. Barker throws her hands up just in front of Grace Zilbert, and this one will go out of play behind the court. Nice little rally right there for the Pilots, unable to come up with the point, though. It's now 19-17 in favor of the Vandals. It's Paige Rue Piper, the lefty, back to serve for the Vandals. Here's a jump float into the middle. Saved by Heft. Nainone with the swing. Lacey with the dig. Cross court by Jansen. Rolled over by Warren. He's running through that one. Here's a swing from Nainone. On the line, Rue Piper saves that one. A set by Lacey. Hughes set up for the middle. Tip over by Heft. It's saved by the Vandals. And then a middle quick attack right there to number 15, Nikki Ball. Ends with a point for the Vandals in the middle of the court. It's now 20-17 in favor of Idaho. We're going to have a timeout for the Portland Pilots. That's their first one of this one. It's 20-17. We're going to take a quick break here on the WCC Network. Welcome back into the Child Center. I'm Brian Slug with your call. Set 2 after a brief timeout by the Pilots. It's a 3-point lead for the Vandals. Hughes saving that serve received right there by Zilbert. Blocked back over by the Pilots. Saved by the Vandals. Here's a back set. Warren swinging on the outside off the hands. It looked like it was off of Heft. Goes out of bounds. Far side of the court near the coaching staff. And that'll be a point for the Vandals, extending it to 4. It's now 21-17. Zilbert, Nanone, and Williams in the back row. Hughes, Forrest, and Heft. Those are your front row hitters. And center right now as Forrest swings cross court. Rupiper throws out an arm, trying to save that one. Goes off and out of play. That'll be a kill for the Pilots. It's 21-18 as Forrest is now coming out of the game. Going into serve is going to be Emma Scanlon. Spins the ball around on her hand once. Now she jump float serve. Open, sends this one, and it's going to be past the 10-foot line. Warren only moves to roll this one over. Scanlon pancakes this one up. Nanone swings, and it's going to be blocked. It's going to be blocked by both Danae Jansen and by number 15, Nikki Ball for the Vandals. And a quick 1-point turnaround. It's now 22-18 in favor of the Vandals as we've got Kennedy Warren on the far side of the court with the float serve from her feet. Williams serve receives that one. A back set is going to go over the net. Heft only move was to try to tip that one back into play. As the slide was unsuccessful on this one. Warren back to serve. 23-18 for the Vandals. Float serve across the court. Zilbert with the serve receive. Heft out of the middle, swings as she had to get that one just ahead of it. And coming out of her shoe was Rupiper, but the ball bounces on the Vandals' side. So that will be a point for the Pilots. They're on the verge of possibly dropping set number 2 here, but they're trying to stay alive. They trail by 4, 23-19 as Cassidy Nanone back to serve. Williams and Scanlon in the back row. Here's the set from Jansen to the outside to Smith. She swings off the hands. Scanlon saves that one for a dig. Heft swings off the foot and off the pin, out of bounds, which means that's a kill for the Pilots. Trying to save that one on the far side was Emily Smith. But with that kill by Heft on the right side, it's now going to be a 23-20 game. Pilots trail by 3. Float serve by Nanone, far side. It's going to be picked up by Kennedy Warren. Jansen with the set. Smith hitting that one. Scanlon saving it. Back set. Heft swinging this one a little farther. Going to say went off the hands, though, of the outside attacker right there on Smith, and that'll be a point for the Pilots, and they've cut back into this one. It's now 23-21, and it looks like Idaho is going to take a timeout after that point by the Pilots. It's 23-21, set 2. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Welcome back to the Child Center after that brief timeout by Idaho. It's 23-21 in favor of the Vandals as the serve by Nanone is over, picked up on that swing. And there's a swing from Rich. Cannot be saved by Emily Smith. Trying to dig that one from across the court. It goes out of bounds into the Pilots bench. And now it's 23-22. Once down by 4 late here in this game, 23-19. The Pilots slowly making their way back. Nanone float serve. Warren pops this one up for Jansen. The swing by number 15 Nikki Ball is going to go off a couple of pilots, and now they're on set point right here. They lead 24-22 as Cassie Nanone will now get a quick break coming into the game for the first time in a Portland uniform at home. It's going to be Jessie Brigham. Lacey with the serve. Brigham pops this one up at the 10-foot line. Hughes sets this one back. It's going to be blocked by the Vandals. Now sent back over. Smith with the swing. Great block right there on the outside by Hughes and Heft, putting up a big old wall. And that ball bounced straight down on the Vandals' side of the net. It's now 24-23 as the Pilots try to tie this one up to make it 2 points to win this set. Williams, the libero, is going to float serve this one. It is going to be shanked by Rupiper and sent over to the scores table by me. And we've now tied this ball game up 24s right now for the Pilots. Now with the tied at 24s, it takes 2 points to win these sets. Here comes Williams with the float serve up again. Rupiper cannot get a good handle on that serve receive. Jansen trying to send this one over Warren. Just sends it over as a dead ball, and here's a block. And this one is going to go out of bounds. That's going to be a point for the Pilots. The tackle looked like Katie Barker had that one. As we get a quick little replay right here. Correction, is Liz Rich with the swing off of Kyra Palmbush's hand and out of bounds. It's now 25-24. Williams serves this one. Rupiper actually has a good serve receive on this one. Palmbush sends this one over. Williams dives to save that one. Barker swings, put up by Warren. Lacey runs off the court, sends this one high in the air. Rupiper just sends this one over, and the free ball goes out of bounds. And the Portland Pilots were trailing 23-19, and they come back and win set 2, 26-24. We're going to take a quick break as the players are going to have a 5-minute session in between set 3. I'm Brian Slyke with your call. We'll be right back on the WCC Network for set 3 between Portland and Idaho. Welcome back to the Child Center. I'm Brian Slyke. I've got your call for today's first matchup for the Portland Pilots between the Idaho Vandals. They've got another game tonight at 7 p.m. set for against Washington State, as we're about ready to start set number 3 here. Out on the court for the Pilots right now. And it's going to be Grace Zilbert, Carrie Williams. We've got Cassidy Nanone. We also have Kelly Hughes, Claire Forrest, and Katie Barker in your starting lineup for set 3. Setting and starting things off right now for the Vandals, it's going to be number 12, Elena Lacey. She's no longer the libero for this set. Here's the set by Hughes. Nanone sends this one over. The new libero, though, Hopen, sends this one back over to the net, and then Katie Barker jumps up and swipes it to the right side for a point for the Pilots. It's going to be an early 1-0 lead, as the Pilots bench is pretty pumped up about that point. Barker back to serve. Bounces the ball a couple of times. Now she comes up for the jump float. This one going to go a little far past the end line. Hopen watching that one all the way to the back. And that service error will tie things up. It's now going to be 1-1. Kyra Palmbush back to serve for the Vandals in the back row right now. It's also Danae Jansen. And then you also have Elena Lacey, who was back there as the libero last time. Palmbush, excuse me, sends this one out of bounds on the far side of the court near the scorer's table. And that service error will wash out ours. It's now 2-1 in favor of the Pilots as Emma Scanlon comes in for Claire Forrest. Scanlon with the float serve. This one on the line. That one will be an ace for the Pilots. It's now 3-1. Kennedy Warren was on the line watching that one, and not quite deep enough, just past her. She thought she followed it all the way. That'll go down for an ace. Scanlon attacking her again, but Warren coming up with the swing off the top of the block. Hughes with the back set, half swinging cross court on the slide. Here's the bump set by Hopen. A tip play. Williams picks this one up. Middle set. And Heft swings off the block from Warren and Nikki Ball. And that ball is going to go out of bounds. That'll be a kill for the Pilots. And that's now 4-1. Early set 3 lead. This one off the top of the net. They're going to roll back on the Portland side of things, though. So the 2 points so far for the Vandals are 2 service errors on the Pilots. It's now 4-2, though, in favor of Portland, as we have a brief moment of wiping off what seems to be some precipitation or something. One of the players diving on the court, a little wet spot as we towel that one up. Rue Piper sending this one over. Williams with the serve receive. Hughes setting to the outside. That one is going to be a double, though, and that'll be a point for the Vandals. It's now 4-3. Rue Piper is a senior for this Vandal team, as here's the set by Hughes. The bump set went over, but it was swung on by the outside for the Vandals. Hopen with the dig, swung on by Warren, back line. This one is going to be in. Zilbert trying to dive for that one. Scanlon staying on her feet. You'd like to see them crisscross on that one. Scanlon trying to get out of the way, thought that one was going deep and out, but now we're all evened up at 4 apiece. Rue Piper's serve deep, and that'll give the Pilots their lead again. It's now 5-4. Zilbert leaving the game, now coming in. It's going to be Liz Rich. She's been swinging outside for the Pilots today. Cassie Nanone back to serve. Float over to Hopen, the libero. Tight one for the setter. The middle swings right into a block. It goes back, and unable to cover that one successfully are the Vandals, and that will be a point for the Pilots. After that block, it's now 6-4. Nanone been serving cross court mainly, and there is the 3rd service error already here in set 3 for the Pilots. It's now a 6-5 lead, though, for Portland. Leaving the game is Lacey. Coming into the game is going to be Emily Smith. She's now swinging on the outside. Front row player that did just leave the game, though, was Kennedy Warren. Or Becca Owen, who's now serving. Here's a short float serve. Picked up by Scanlon. Half swings and sends this one down off the block. Hopen trying to drop down and get to that one, but the ricochet just killed the momentum of that ball, and that'll be a point for the Pilots. Now it's a 2-point lead, 7-5. Heft leaving the game, Barker back in. Williams back to serve. Jump float far side, staying. Owen having trouble receiving that one. That'll be an ace for the Pilots. It's now 8-5. Hughes, Rich, and Barker are in the front row right now for the Pilots. Got Jansen for the Vandals. They also have Nikki Ball, and it looks like it's Emily Smith as well. Here's a set to Smith on the outside. All she can do is tip. She sends this one out of bounds, though, trying to tool that one off of Hughes and possibly Barker on the block attempt, but no contact made, out of bounds. It's now going to be a 9-5 lead for the Pilots here in set 3. There's a serve over. Owen trying to get out of the way. This one gets her right in the shoulder. That'll be another ace for Williams, 10-5 now as the lead extends for the Pilots. Coming into the game as Becca Owen being replaced after being aced a couple of times in a row. Now it's going to be Sam Swayze, sophomore from Hayden, Idaho, from Coeur d'Alene High School. Williams with the float serve, attacking the libero Hopen. Here's a set to the outside, Smith. She swings, this one goes off the hands. Looked like it went off the pin as well. So that'll be out of bounds off of Portland. That'll be a Vandal point. It's now 10-6. Setter still front row for the Vandals as Williams takes the serve receive. Hughes sets this one cross court to the outside to Rich. Tips this one over, and here is an excellent swing by Smith for the Vandals off the block of Hughes and Barker. Out of bounds for a point. It's now 10-7 in favor of Portland. Hopen, a senior for this Vandal team. She's back to serve from Shoreline, Washington. Here, Scanlon cannot make a great serve receive on this one. Running across the court, trying to make a diving play was Hughes. She's unable to get a hand on that one. That'll be an ace against the Pilots. It's now a 10-8 lead for Portland after that point. Hopen attacking the other libero, Williams. Hughes with the back set. Barker swings, and this one goes off the shoulder of the newcomer into the game, Swayze. She cannot get out of the way of that one. That'll be a point for the Pilots. It's 11-8 as we now have another change coming in. It's Claire Forrest for Emma Scanlon in the front row. Kelly Hughes, the center for the Pilots. She does her float serve, and the newcomer with a receiving error right there. That'll be an ace for the Pilots. And there is going to be a timeout issued by the Idaho Vandals. It's a 12-8 lead right now for the Portland Pilots here in set 3 as they lead 2-0 at the North Portland Invite. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Welcome back to the Chiles Center. Brian Slyke with your call. Set 3 of Portland's first matchup today. They're facing off against the Idaho Vandals. They lead 2-0. They won set 1, 25-14, and set 2, 26-24. Here, Kelly Hughes back to serve with a 12-8 lead. Swayze with the serve receive. Smith with the swing. Williams cannot get to it on the cross-court attack, and that'll be a point for the Vandals. It's now 12-9. Danae Jansen back to serve. She's the center for the Vandals, so there's 3 attackers in the front row for Idaho. Here's the serve receive. Hughes cannot get to that one. That'll technically be a front row attack for her. She broke the plane of the net trying to save that ball as it went over. So now it's a 12-10 lead for the Pilots. Front row, we've got Rue Piper, Smith, and Palmbush for the Vandals. Hughes with the back set. Barker swinging off the block of Smith and Palmbush and dropping just in front of Jansen in the back left corner. It's going to be a point, though, for Portland. It's 13-10. Rich leaving the game. Coming back in now, it's going to be Grace Zilbert. Zilbert, a freshman from the Portland area. She went to Lincoln High School. She float serves this one. Swayze trying to keep it in front of her. The setter sets this one up for Smith on the outside. Just tipped over. Saved by Portland. Nenone swings off the block. Swayze cannot get to that one before it hits the ground, and that'll be another point for Portland. It's now 14-10. Zilbert was a 4-time letter winner in high school, and she's also the league player of the year last season. As there's a good serve trying to save this one. Swayze trying to send it over, and that'll be the 3 hits for the Vandals. And Portland will just extend this lead a little bit more. It's now 15-10. Swayze with the serve receive. Jansen setting this one outside, blocked by the Pilots, and unable to cover that one. Drops for a point on the Vandals side of the net, and Portland now adding another point. It's now 16-10. They've got a little run going. Forrest, Barker, and Nenone are in the front row, and there's a service error just on the back line. Just nicked it enough to get that point right there for Zilbert, and that'll be a service ace, and that's 17-10 now is the lead for the Portland Pilots. They're going to take this lead into a timeout for the Idaho Vandals. We lead in set 3, 17-10. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Welcome back to the Chiles Center. It's Portland's first match of the day. Of their 3 matches that they have set up for this North Portland Invitational. Facing off against Idaho here, they lead 2-0. As here's a serve from Zilbert. Smith sending this one over with a roll. Hughes with the setup at the net. Back set to Claire Forrest, and she swings down the line. Swayze got a hand on it, but couldn't pop it up, and that'll be another point for the Pilots. And it's now 18-10. Silver with the float serve. Swayze, another receiving error by her. That'll be another ace. It's now 19-10. Swayze just entered in for this set, and now she's quickly going to be subbed out. She was subbed in for Becca Owen, who had struggled in the back row. So now Swayze going to be replaced by Kennedy Warren, a middle blocker. She's now in the back row, assuming she can play all the way around. Here comes the serve, and they attack Warren at first. And nothing got done on that play. Warren popped it back up way beyond the 10-foot line. The only person getting to that one was going to be Delaney Hopen, and she popped that one up not near any of her hitters. tried to roll that one over, but it went into the net. It's now a 10-point lead, 20-10 for the Pilots. Here's the serve. Warren pops this one up, trying to keep it alive. On the diving attempt was Jansen. Hoping got a hand on it too, but couldn't send it over. And it's now going to be a 21-10 lead after the point for the Pilots. Freshman has quite the serving streak going right now. I believe she's working on 6 to 7 straight serves, and well, the broadcasting curse, you bring it up and then it reverses on itself. It's service error into the net. It's now going to be a 21-11 lead for the Pilots over the Vandals. Leaving the court right now is number 7, Emily Smith. Replacing her is going to be Eleni Lacey. She's in the back row. She'll be serving right now. Lacey with a little roll on her serve. Hughes setting from the 10-foot line. Obvious doubles. That one slipped right between her hands. The attempt was to go to Claire Forrest on the right side. Be a point for the Vandals, 21-12. Portland trying to close this one out with a clean 3-set sweep. They need 4 more points. Serve receive taken by Zilbert. The swing by Forrest and a good block by Palmbush and Warren on the left side of that Vandals front row, and that'll be a point for Idaho, 21-13. Warren looked like she got all of that one. Her hands angled in, bouncing that one right into the middle of the court. And this time Lacey airmails. This one goes a little far past the end line. It's now 22-13 on the service error. We've got Katie Barker, the senior middle blocker from Los Altos, California, now out there to serve. Float serve, picked up by the libero Hopen. Jansen with the set to the outside. Warren cannot get a kill on that one. It's picked up by the Pilots. Nainone swings. Good cover right there by Heff. She's back covering again as Nainone sends this one over the block. Jansen with a back set. Swung on by the lefty. Rue Piper saved by the Pilots. Here's a swing from Forrest on the outside, and trying to save that one was Zilbert on the cover. Came back a little too quickly, and instead of sending that one straight up, she sent it a little bit backwards. Good rally, though, by the Pilots. It's now 22-14 after the Vandals' point. Kyra Palmbush back to serve. She's had a couple service errors today, and this one is not going to be a service error. Just inside that back end line. Both Williams and Zilbert thought that one was going to go out of bounds, so that'll be an ace, and now it's 22-15. We do have a new player coming in for the Pilots. Cassidy Nainone now leaving the court, and coming in is going to be Jade Harris, the freshman outside hitter. Zilbert takes that serve receive. Here's a set from Williams. Harris with the roll over the top. Sent back over by the Vandals. Hughes back sets to Force. She swings into the block, and this one is going to be put right back on the Portland side of the net. Vandals staying alive here. It's now 22-16. Jade Harris is a freshman from Murrieta, California. Stands at 5'11". Here's the throw, or the serve from Palmbush. Bump set by Zilbert. Harris trying to save that one. The block, though, done by the middle. That was Nikki Ball, not allowing that one to get over the net. And there's going to be a timeout called right now by Dylan Hamilton and the Pilots. This will be their first one of this set. Pilots lead 22-17 here in set 3. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Welcome back to the Chiles Center. Brian Slyke with your call. It's set 3. It's a 5-point lead right now for the Pilots. The Vandals, though, have been making a mini run of their own, getting the last couple of points, cutting into this lead. Kyra Palmbush with the serve. Williams with the reception, and the swing by Heft is blocked by Nikki Ball in the middle. 6'3" sophomore from Folsom, California with the block. It's now a 4-point lead for the Pilots, 22-18. As Palmbush back to serve. Flat-footed, Zilbert with the reception. Set by Hughes, far side. Harris tried to send that one to the back, but it's saved by Lacey. Hughes with the first touch there. Williams having to set that one. Harris swings in off the arms of Palmbush, who's playing left back, and this one will go into the stands. Point for the Pilots. It's 23-18. Emma Scanlon into the game now for Claire Forrest. Forrest, one of 2 transfers coming into the Portland program this season. Jessie Brigham is the other one. She came from Boise State. Here is the long serve, though, by Emma Scanlon. And service errors seem to be the issue so far right now. There's at least 5 of them that have gone for the Vandals. It's now a 23-19 lead for the Pilots. Jade Harris still in the front row with Hughes. Shayla Heft is also in the front row. Unable to get to that one with Scanlon on the serving reception. That'll be an error on her. An ace for the Vandals. It's now a 3-point lead. Williams trying to make a great effort getting that second touch. But couldn't get underneath it enough to send it back in the direction of the net. So Rupiper sending this serve over. Williams with the reception. Hughes jumping up to try to block that one. The swing went out of bounds, but they're going to say that one bounced inbounds thanks to the line judge to my right. That'll be a point for the Vandals. It's now 23-21. And with that, head coach Dylan Hamilton will call a timeout, his second one of this set for the Pilots. They're on the verge of winning it, but they're on the wrong end of a streak right now. They lead 23-21 here in set 2 over Idaho. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Welcome back to the Childs Center. Set 3. Portland on the wrong side of a couple of mini streaks right now for the Idaho Vandals. They only lead by 2, 23-21. At one point, they were up 20-10 in this game. So now they take that 2-point lead. As here's Rupiper with the serve. Williams with the reception. The set out to Jade Harris. And this one is going to go out of bounds just past the end line. Tough play. There was a diving attempt right there by, looked like Lacey. Sent out her arm, pulled it back, but that one was out of bounds by what looked to be a good foot. Now it's a 1-point game, 23-22. Here's a service error past the end line, and that's exactly what the Pilots needed right here. Try to change the momentum up a little bit as Rupiper serves this one a little far. So we've got Liz Rich coming back into the game. She is replacing number 6, Grace Zilbert, and now we got Jessie Brigham coming into the game. She'll be replacing the new freshman that was just entering in. That was Jade Harris. So Brigham back to serve, the transfer from Boise State. Her first serve is going to drop down. Lacey saves that one. Here's the swing from the outside. Warren, it's saved by Brigham. It probably would have gone out of bounds off the back line, but that'll be a point for the Vandals. It's now 24-23 as we have a quick change out on the court. Emily Smith now coming in as Elena Lacey comes off the court. Now back to serve. It's going to be number 17, Kennedy Warren. Scanlon with the reception. Rich trying to send this one over. Warren will keep this ball alive. Smith swings, bounces right in between Brigham and Scanlon. Back in the middle and right back. That'll tie this thing up. We're now tied at 24 here in set 3. Like I said, Brigham, sophomore from Boise State. She's a 3-time Oregon 4A honoree as a junior and senior first team, as this swing right here from Rich into the net. No block for the Vandals. And that'll be a point for Idaho. They now take the lead here for the first time here in set 3. It's 25-24. Kind of a reverse of what we had in the last set. Warren with the serve. Hughes with the set to the outside. Rich swinging off the top of a block. This one is going to land inbounds on the far right corner, or far left corner, I should say, back of the court away from me. And that's going to even it up at 25s. Now, Brigham was a nice addition for this Pilots team. She led the Broncos in digs last year by almost 80. She had 77 over the next closest person as Hopen sets up with a bump set. Swing by Smith. Hughes close to the net, sets up for a middle hit. Barker tips this one over, saved by Rupiper. Jansen sends this one up, swung on by Smith. Williams digs that one. Rich swings. This one is going to go off the block. And that'll be a point for the Vandals. It's now 26-25. They hold that 1-point lead, and back to serve right now is Delaney Hopen. Flat foot serve. Williams will receive this one. A back set to Parker. She swings. This one goes off of Paige Rupiper's arms, past the back line, almost into the purple gate back there. And that is going to even us up at 26s here as Claire Forrest comes back out of the court. For Emma Scanlon, who was going to be in the front row. Now back to serve is Kelly Hughes. 3 attackers up front for the Pilots. 2 attackers right now for the Vandals. Jansen sets up at the 10-foot line, set up for Smith. This one goes off the top of the block from Forrest and Barker. That'll be a point for the Vandals, 27-26. Here's a serve from Danae Jansen. Hughes with a quick set across the court. Rich pounds that one down into the ground right in front of the libero Delaney Hopen in the back row. Great play right there, good succession, got the good pass. The excellent quick set across the court to the outside hitter, who was able to make quick work of that ball and send that one down for a point. It's now 27s all. As Zilbert back onto the court, Brigham goes off. Here's a set from Jansen on the far side. Williams tries to roll this one over. Zilbert picks this one up. Forrest sends this one down the line over the shoulder of Warren, who's playing in the back row. This one bouncing just in front of the official as well down the line for a point for the Pilots. It's now 28-27. Here comes the freshman with the serve over the net. Smith receives that one, sends it over. The set got back to her. Williams with the dig. Barker out of the middle, tips this one over the net, and Warren cannot get to it. And that'll be a 2-point victory for the Portland Pilots, and they have a clean sweep, 3-0 as they win this one 29-27. The players not going to meet at the net, but like I said, clean sweep. The Pilots take game 1 or set 1 25-14, set 2 26-24, and set number 3 29-27. I'm Brian Slack. I had your call for this matchup. Return tonight for match number 2 against Washington State at 7 p.m. here at Chiles Center. We'll be back later tonight on the WCC Network.